Hi guys, welcome to this video. This is Dr. Moorthy, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Automobile Engineering, SNS College of Technology, Coimbatore. So this is a lecture series of automotive vehicle component design. So in this video, we are going to discuss about a design of vehicle front axle and what are the different loads, movements, and stresses acting on the front axle, and what is the importance of front axle, and what are the design factors we need to take into care while designing the front axle. So, why front axle loads matter? Yes, we know the front axle will also act as a support member for the vehicle chassis. And what are the other important application or purpose of the front axle? And what are the different types of loads, stresses, and acting on the front axle? So first, the weight support. So the front axle bears a significant portion of the vehicle's static weight, including the engine and the passenger compartment. Yes, we know this front axle is placed in the vehicle member or vehicle frame, and also it holds the some amount of or loads of the vehicle structure. As we know, we have front axle and rear axle. So these front and rear axle is mounted on the vehicle frame, and after that we have the vehicle chassis. So this entire vehicle body or vehicle load is splitted into front axle, or it is shared by front and rear axle, and then it is transferred to the vehicle wheel. And dynamic forces and the criticality, so these are the different factors is mainly with the vehicle front axle. And what are the basic load component on the front axle? As I said earlier, so this front axle will have experienced some amount of load stresses and like vertical load. So this vehicle vertical load is mainly because of the vehicle load. It may the component, the structural load of vehicle, and then passenger. So the and the lateral loads, so the forces experienced during cornering. And yes, if you take or if you make a vehicle turning, and some amount of external forces acting, so these vehicle from should resist these two loads, vertical and lateral loads, and longitudinal load, like, and then some amount of movement also acting on the front axle, so that we can design the vehicle front axle while considering these factors like loads, movement, and then stresses, and and calculating axial loads. Yes, I said earlier we have different loads acting on the vehicle axle. Like if you take a moment theorem, the load distribution on axle is fundamentally governed by the vehicle total weight and the position of its center of gravity and its vehicle basis. And the front axle load we can calculate with the multiplication of the total entire weight of the vehicle and the distance from rear axle to center of gravity divided by the entire wheel basis. So based on this formula, we can find what is the actual load acting on the vehicle axle. And then next one is the dynamic effects on front axle loads. Yes, if it is the static, so far we have discussed about the static, and then what is the dynamic effect? If it is changed and every second, these forces or loads or effect is changed dynamically, like road irregularities. Yes, we know. Yes, the road condition is it is not always is same in the all the position or place. It varies, and then some amount of void or the speed breaks or some external factors. So these also plays a major role. And then emergency braking and cornering, load transfer, and suspension stiffness. So these are some additional factors. It have the impact on on the front axle loads. And as I said earlier, we have to design the front axle while considering these factors. And this finite element analysis is the system a simulation model used what is while application of these are impact of these loads, and we can visualize the what is the actual stress strain, and what is the on the frequency change, with a simulation of each component in the front axle, so that we can, based on that, we can design or modify the front axle structure. And with a real world failure analysis insights, yes, once we are considering or analyzing the factors of front axle, so we have to think about the actual real world applications, like the fatigue fractures, environmental factors, diagnostic synergy, and optimized design. So these are the factors we need to consider while designing the vehicle front axle structure. And based on these factors, we can modify and we can design with the tolerance of with this consideration of these factors, so that we can make the vehicle front axle design in a consistent manner. Thank you.